We have two great players playing today with MGBMonk and Schmendrix playing, and Monk, who both of these players are Shuffle Bus regulars. So I want to be really clear that they show up on the Shuffle Bus streams all the time, and we appreciate their support. Monk has kind of made a name for himself as the resident Prison Mill player. So I don't know if he's brought a mill deck. We'll see. The assumption
that would be the biggest troll, is if he's on like Brennan or something.
the assumption is that he
It's
will.
like,
But the assumption is if Monk is on a mill deck, we're going to have a lot of conversations around Safeguard and Kneel and Law of Fear and a lot of really cool stuff that Monk does in his decks. But if not, then you and I are going to be on the guest train with everybody else as to what's happening in a particular matchup. So I think
I've never personally seen him play anything else.
He was playing a Jericho the other day that wasn't that. I even heard he had an Iron Rhino in that mix somewhere. So I don't know.
So it's either prison or bad cards.
Maybe I don't know. But if you want to send them off, Neil, we will get the game transferred over and we will get this party started. I don't know their Phoenix Borns yet, so if you as soon as we get in, I'll get the UI updated for Phoenix Borns and all that great stuff. So,
yep.
But yeah, I'm excited to see.
And Brian B game going on right now too.
I know. But I think that's just a casual game. I don't even think that's a...
Yeah, I think it is too, because he's playing Daimona.
Monk is on... It looks like he's on a Prison Mill plan with Leo here.
Leo v. Hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, German. That would be the best troll, is just he's like playing Hope Burn or something. But with the old 5 Charm Dice Leo, I think we're probably back in Prison Town.
Yep, we are in Prison Town, and there's lots of cool stuff that happens in a prison game. So I'm excited to talk about it.
If you look at Schmendrix dice spread, it's I think the exact same as one of the hopes we saw yesterday. So we'll see some kind of bat / Lightbringer thing.
So German adding to the conversation, first time Monk pivots will be a watershed moment in the game's history. I think he did it the other day in a test game, German. So, but obviously in a competitive environment, for sure, that will be, we'll all kind of go like, what's going to happen. Monk says this is a funsy deck. I love that because Ashcon is sort of at its core a casual, environment. I know there are translucent
this tournament
dice
is meant to be for fun,
right?
Like,
I would have loved to see all the pod champions come together and duke it out.
It'd still be a weird bracket because you're talking about like still 20 people, right? Like,
right. Oh yeah,
it'd
be extremely strange. You'd have to probably run it as like a Swiss into a top 2 or top 4 or something because of just the fact there could be some uneven numbers and a variety of different things. But it would be interesting to watch that. So we do see Schmendrix gets to go first here, or chooses to go first. Monk chooses to go second. So actually, let's talk about that for just a second because I think this is a critical component of Monk's plan. When you think about prison decks and you want to play a prison deck, and we do see Monk put the Orchid Dove down, the prison deck wants to have as many opportunities in the game for top of round kneels. And so most games... forgot to transition. Thanks, German. Most of the time, these things turn into situations where they turn into situations where you need top of round 2 and top of round 4 for. You should have visual now, Clue. Top of round 2, top of round 4 for the kneel target. So that means that Monk only has to weather the storm in round 1. And that's where the Law of Fear comes into play in the round 1 answers that are going to be in the first 5 here for Monk. And then you really only have to worry about the safeguard for that top of round 3 swing from the Hope player to really sort of get there. So we should expect to see, if we're really talking about this prison deck, and I have played this prison deck a lot, is Orchid Dove, Law of Fear, Abundance, and... he's got some different options when you get into... He has had Owl in these, but obviously Owl being chained, I'm not sure what his replacement plan is for no Owl in this Leo deck. Probably would see Imperial Ninja, would be my guess, as a possible first 5 card here.
Call upon the Realms in his first 5, and that seems very weak to me. I know that these prison decks operate a little differently, but that's still kind of like
Well, it depends
a
on
first
whether or not
four.
he's on open memories to get the second abundance online and draw 4 cards. So there's the
Right.
first
Abundance
abundance.
makes it a little better, but I guess there's two ways I see this. If Call Upon the Realms is a singleton, you first five it, then you drop the abundance, or else you play 3 of them and then you just put abundance in play and try to draw cards like that. Because I think I would still rather have a card that does something in my first 5. The Call Upon the Realms are important in this kind of deck because they want to have more main actions than their opponent, but
Right.
not in round 1.
So here's the Speed Hunt Master. I'm sure we'll see Monk just. It's not really a Speed Hunt Master because we've already got 3 books down from Schmendrix, but we're going to see this Law of Fear come into play here. We're just gonna see an Orchid Dove. I like the Orchid Dove as just a strict blocker here.
I would have 100% played Law of Fear there if it's in my hand. I don't think my opponent's going to play a 0 power guy to get with the come into play ability. So I would
definitely not with Vampire Bat Swarm, but you do get the Orchid Dove
Glowfinch. I guess Bird like buys some time
and gets 3 cards off your opponent's deck.
Right, but that's going to happen sometime in the turn, right? Like these, you put yourself in a position where I guess Duplicate isn't that great here, but you get Lightbringered.
Right.
And then next turn, the Duplicate will be good. Yep. Birds attack for 0.
Yep.
So what is the last card in the Hope hand? Because he's got a Salamander Monk. Is it a Hammer Knight? No, it's a Widows.
Is it Widows or Void Pulse?
Well, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 dice in play right now, so it'd be a 2 dice card. I guess if it's a Void Pulse, he has 1 dice left to buy a bat back.
Buying the bat back in this kind of matchup seems pretty low value because you're probably not
right. It's never going to trade for anything.
Right.
I'm sure it's never going to die.
There is the Vampire Bat Swarm.
And under that thinking, like the Widows is worse.
I think it's probably a Duplicate Void Pulse. And then he's going to duplicate the Lightbringer, make that Glowfinch attack into Widows. Okay.
Yep, that's kind of what I thought.
Hope is going to do some.
The duplicate play is cute because now the Glowfinch is going to have to attack, and having already used his Glowfinch summon, he won't be able to put a unit in play. He's just going to get cracked for 1,000. This is why I think you needed to put the Law of Fear in play before, because of the potential multiple Peacock time walks.
Mm-hmm.
Think of what Law of Fear would have done if it was in play instead of one of these birds.
It would have just been insane here, right? Like we would have seen this.
Yeah, it would have gained him 6 life.
Yep. For sure.
Maybe
the only thing that you kind of have to be a little weary of now against the prison deck is there's going to be a ton of main actions left from Monk. So he has the ability to set everything up properly to just kneel this board out. And if Hope doesn't have good self-clear, she's in a lot of trouble now with a full battlefield. Like, you might take this initial swing, and then you might never get to attack again in this game.
We'll see if he first 5 the kneel, just to hold for round 2. But if he didn't, then he's in a lot of trouble if he doesn't draw it. Though he'll have a couple of abundance draws, obviously, to get there. Interesting that we're seeing not the full squad.
Well, I'm guessing he doesn't think there's going to be another unit coming from Monk here, so this actually allows the Huntmaster Panther Spirit to get in for more damage. But I definitely think now you should save your life as much as possible and go ahead and play the Law of Fear. But he's going to play the Ruby Cobra.
That's a Ruby Cobra. Okay.
I like Ruby Cobra here.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, this is why he didn't play the Law of Fear the turn I was talking about it, because he doesn't have one.
I'm not sure that's still not true. Schmendrix is passing.
You think he would start Abundance, Orchid Dove, Cobra, and Law of Fear in a 3 spell board? That doesn't make any sense.
No, that's true. That's true. Leo is a 3 spell board. I always forget that Leo is limited by 3, not 4. So maybe there is no Law of Fear plan here for Monk at all.
Like, he may have Law of Fear in the deck for later, but he definitely didn't first 5 it.
think you got to go ahead and pressure that vampire bat swarm with this cobra.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you attack as long as you don't attack Hunt
He's
Master.
gonna be on a gates open. That's what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just taking that damage.
He's going straight to face. I would
I
have
think he's
tried
going
to
to try
attack
to
one of the
exhaust the
units.
Hunt Master, but I think I think you should have taken the Widow or the. But if you're going top around Neil, you don't really want to open up the battlefield space either. So if you have the Neil here, if you know you have the Neil here, or you're going to get to look at.
If he's on gates, he doesn't know, right? Like,
right.
If I was considering top of round 2 Neil, I would have abundanced first to see if I drew it.
Sure.
Then I would have next turn gates abundanced.
There's a heal from Monk, so he goes abundance into heal.
Does he not have the gates? I mean, I guess he can still do all his things even if he gates now.
Well,
yeah,
it was bugged for a little bit here. So he couldn't get a full heal off. The joke.
There's a bug in Ashteki for anyone that's not privy to this. There was a bug in Ashteki where heal treated a Phoenix Born as a unit and healed it fully for some reason for a couple days. But apparently it has been.
There's the gates.
Yep.
Make another dove.
So again, this is and maybe he knows something I don't because I never play this kind of deck really. I think that especially when your opponent's essentially tapped out, you should always abundance first because it gives you the most information about what the rest of your turn is going to look like. Like 99% of the time, he's going to make that dove.
I think.
But what if he draws something better with that dice to use?
I think the reason why he does that there, though, just for argument's sake, is that it saves him 2 life against the Hunt Master still being untapped, unexhausted. So the only reason to make dove there, if the Hunt Master was exhausted, I would agree the abundance goes first here. But with the Hunt Master still available to attack, you've got to probably put a blocker up just to save the 2 life you just healed.
Yeah, I guess if you're probably not doing better than Charm Class gain 2 mill 1.
Right.
Which is essentially what that is.
But I do agree otherwise. I do think that you should always look before you spend dice, use your abundances to their maximum value before you spend dice.
And that's only true when your opponent is very low on resources. If your opponent is full up on dice still, you shouldn't abundance first.
Right.
Because you don't want to give the same opportunity to your opponent. There we see the Cobra. Cobra immediately attacked.
The Hunt Master.
No, Hunt Master's attacking Cobra, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Hunt Master
he just lets it go.
Cobra. Yep. He's got to let it go. His guard's down.
Right. What did he guard for earlier?
He guarded the Orchid Dove. Or Glowfinch or something. I'm not sure.
It must have been one of the birds.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, maybe Panther Spirit attacked Cobra last like 2 rounds ago.
Could have been.
With the guide, and then he guarded. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
So if the Hope player is playing Seeds of Aggression, they have quite a bit of opportunity here. But we do see a Return to Soil. Going to open up one of those things. It does get a card off the top, but kill off a Widow. So it does open that.
That's kind of an interesting play. I think that would indicate that he does not have the Neil, because you're allowing your opponent to essentially probably kill your Glowfinch with this Salamander by doing so.
He does get rid of the Recursion Fire Archer and Sleepy Widows. I do like getting rid of the Recursion Fire Archer here, because that is one way that the Hope player can essentially get in and win.
The other cards are essentially meaningless. It's very unlikely that this Hope has a what's the card? Memorialize, that these spells would matter.
Right.
So the Hope chose not to. Was the Hope forced to pass the turn before?
No.
Why didn't they make a Salamander and kill this Glowfinch?
I don't know.
While the Glowfinch is exhausted, it won't mill him.
Don't know. That maybe they just wanted. Maybe the Hope player just wanted to make sure they had more battlefield space in general for this round, because Monk's going to kneel here for sure.
Not for sure. Very likely.
Nope, he's just going to make a dove.
Yeah. Right. See, they don't always have it. That's the thing. Is like, oh, it's likely to happen. Well, it's not even likely to happen, right? He's looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 23 cards that he's looking at 5, and he needs to hit a 3 of. So that's like 70% to have it or something.
Yeah, I do think he has the kneel. I think he makes this play because it forces the opponent to commit more to the battlefield or make a less effective attack against the wall.
If he has the kneel, I
Orchid
heavily disagree with this Orchid Dove. Because he already had all the units accounted for
Sure.
with his men. Like, he had plenty of blockers. The guy wasn't like, Schmendrix was not way wider than him or anything.
No, but Schmendrix was going to make probably another Lightbringer force the attack, right? So you kind of keep even once the Lightbringer gets made.
Right, but then you just kneel, right? Like, if he does that, you just kneel then.
No, you can't because you have to attack. Kneel's main action.
Right. I mean, like, after your time walked. I guess because he has hope, you have to like play around the double time walk.
Right.
That's kind of rough.
Double Lightbringer is extremely powerful, folks. You heard it here first.
It's not even double Lightbringer. It's just side action Lightbringer.
Right.
Unfair.
Oh yeah.
Like,
for sure.
Like, obviously doing Lightbringer more than once has happened in a lot of iterations up to this point. You had things like we saw last at Ashcon, people playing Gates Lightbringer and having side action guys to put in play. When you can side action Lightbringer and put a big threat into play, that's very, very good.
I had disconnected. I got us back in here.
That's okay. I don't think anything happened.
Yeah, no, I think
I will say that, funnily enough, you know, you and I have discussed about mill versus burn and how, like, in general, over like a number of games, you're just as likely to mill them closer to burn spells as you are to mill the burn spells away. And it'll be outlier games where you like win or lose because you mill them. In this game, of the 5 cards he's milled, he hit Molten Gold, Sympathy Pain, Final Cry. So I think the remainder of the Hope deck is probably like getting thin on
the burn plan.
Burn plan. I mean, there's still plenty of burn in the deck. Oh, then he hit 2 Molten Golds with that Finch. There's no Molten Golds. So like, this is one of those outlier games that's going to make mill look good against burn. And if you could do this every time, it definitely would be. But you're actually equally as likely to mill them closer to the burn spells and let them draw it than you are to actually beat them this way.
So now you definitely Monk definitely kneels here, right? If he's got kneel, you kneel because you just got a full battle for it. Oh, he's got to attack. See, this is the problem with that.
This is the second time we've seen that play of duplicate Lightbringer, and then end of turn when the duplicated Lightbringer dies, make Widows. And so because you time walk your opponent
on the back of this here.
Yes, I think Glowfinch is the correct side action.
Yeah, I think this would have been a very quick game, Jackson. You're right. If Monk was trying to do his unitless prison mill,
it would certainly make the Hope start worse because he's gotten a ton of value off these time walk turns.
Like if Hope tries to attack here, though, there's a real problem here because if Hope attacks and just tries to go all in to get in for 1 damage, which is what the outcome would be, they lose 4 cards off the top of their deck immediately, right? And they're exhausted out at that point. So it's
we'll see what happens.
I do think.
I guess it can't be like a Nature's Wrath. That would be very bad for the Hope, also.
Right. The Nature's Wrath would just. I mean, it would open the board back up and allow them to play their ready spells and any other cards from hand, which may have value. But
there's still a lot of play from like all these units. Unless they get kneeled, all these units are gonna be able to eat this battlefield up and still get some damage on face at the end of round. Like it'll be like Peacock attacks Dove or whatever, you know, and then like Widows attacks Dove, or they'll make I guess I can't make a guy right now, but eventually make a guy.
So there's the Widows attack Cobra.
Yeah, this is a little less effective because the Cobra already having been used, but it's still like a fine attack. It'll pressure guard. Yeah, you see the Glowfinch take it.
Yep, hits a Void Pulse and a Void Pulse. So all the Void Pulses are now in the discard as well.
Yeah,
One of the ways.
that's kind of rough because Void Pulse is the way that you move those blockers out of the way.
Yeah, so yeah, now you have an issue of getting past your blocker. So we saw one big attack from the Hope, like we said, and we've sort of seen the deck stall at this point. Hope now down to 12 cards total. Who shuffled this Hope deck? Inquisitor asks. I don't know, Inquisitor. It's a great question.
It is weird that we've had all the Molten Golds, all the things. This is an absurd aberration of a mill game.
So we see second Orchid Book come down, so getting closer to that focus 2 value on these Orchid Doves. That's a real place for these Orchid Dove mill decks.
I mean, it's obviously good. It won't matter for like a round and a half, probably.
Well, it only matter. It's going to matter. The focus 1 doesn't matter yet. The focus 2 is the key, so it's going to depend on
right. That's what I'm talking about. It only matters when they're milled out, right? So
So the focus 2 is going to matter on how quickly that third Dove book comes down. So we do see generosity. I mean, the duplicate, untapping the duplicate really doesn't do much. And
Leo he hasn't duplicated yet, so you can't untap it. Well, you could.
He did duplicate. He duplicated a Lightbringer. He doubled up.
Oh, okay. So that is what he chose. He chose not to draw.
And so with all the units bought up now, unless he's got a Seeds of Aggression or something to clear his board, he's not going to have an opportunity to make like double Lightbringers here again.
Yes, Clue. The dream is the answer for sure.
Schmendrix says, "Who ordered all these spiders?" Yeah, Jackson, it's a real tough position for Hope, losing all the burn.
What does she put? And we don't know the list, so we don't know that they have the full upset of all these, but possible 2 Final Cries and 1 Sympathy Pain left. Sympathy Pain, something that
they may only have those.
I guess it can trigger off Abundance or Orchid Dove, right?
Yeah. You're getting further and further away with this heal, though. So Monk taking Leo's life pool back up to 12 here with that generosity play. Schmendrix is now down to 15 from the Guardian attack.
Schmendrix essentially choosing not to draw, just like with choosing to untap duplicate, you said. It's essentially choosing not to draw to make Abundance and Orchid Dove
turn on faster.
Turn on slower, since he chose not to draw.
Right. If he did draw, they would turn on those abilities faster.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's still a lot of gas in the Hope tank here. We'll see what happens. This Hope deck doesn't look like a deck that plays Nature's Wrath. But it kind of needs it here.
It could, just for the sake that it knows it could get clogged up with all these Widows and Bats. So it's possible. But I agree with you. It's probably, if it is in the deck, it's not probably a heavy inclusion in the deck.
Well, he's very likely to draw it now because if he has, it's very likely to draw it because if 2 Abundances get activated this turn, he's going to draw 50% of his deck. His remaining deck.
And I've always said Monk needs to have Meteor in his lists. Because like a late round Meteor...
wouldn't even be good here.
No, it's not good here. But just a late round Meteor in some situations is going to bail you out of scenarios. And this could be one where if Schmendrix does set up in some way to allow Hope to get back into this game, Meteor's there. But right now, as it sits, this Vampire Bat Swarm, this Widow, and this Lightbringer are all looking a little sad. And Cobra's going to hit another card for sure, unless you attack directly into it.
I mean, like Cobra just like sit here probably for a while.
Maybe. Doesn't have to. See, it's going to get attacked immediately. If I'm Leo here, I think I guard this. Yep, and we do see the guard.
Interesting that he's okay, just like... Okay, Sympathy Pain, is this shoot at the face or at...
I think it's going to Phoenixborn.
Use Sympathy Pain...
It was double Sympathy Pain. So Monk goes.
Yeah, I got Sympathy. He Sympathy Pain the Hope Sympathy Pain back. That's what happened.
And Schmendrix goes to 13 here.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, that means the only thing left in the deck for Schmendrix is Final Cry, which is a little harder to trigger against this kind of
And
deck.
you see him attack Huntmaster here just to keep the battlefield clogged.
Right.
If he attacked anything else or face, he would get a unit would get
made
removed.
So Cobra takes 2 damage from Vampire Battle Swarm attack. Yep. And Monk is out of doves. He can't put any more doves into play. Conjuration limit of 3, so he can't put any more dove wall stuff up here, even though he's got an available dove book still on the ready spell. So we're just gonna see the abundance draw here.
Do you think he has multiple Cobra books?
Man, that'd be pretty amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, abundance decks tend to like, at least in theory, I would think that they would want to play multiple copies of all their ready spells when they're on a low spell board, just because you're so likely to draw them like this.
Right. So we just see another heal immediately, getting Monk back to that 10. Spent more time raising health in this game than I have deducting it at this point. So prison deck doing the work it needs to do up to this point. The real question is, can he out main action the Hope player to get that critical safeguard off? That's got to be remembered here. This is the round where you got to go top of round safeguard to preserve your life. And
I'm not even sure that that's true. Like, I mean, the safeguard would be good, but I just don't even think it's necessary. He's so far ahead.
So what you can do if you safeguard here is you can get the last 4 cards from deck with abundance and start. Here's the Nature's Wrath, clear the board.
Okay, so we were talking about the Nature's Wrath as a possibility, and obviously he needs to do this. There is a small resource differential between the Hope and the Leo here, and
does deck destruction not run Mind Probe to stack the deck? Raptor Bonds, first time chat. Welcome, Raptor. Appreciate it. I would say the problem you're going to have with Mind Probe when you're playing Leo in this style of deck is the 3 spell boards. If you played a bigger spell board, you could probably run Mind Probe, if I remember.
Which one is this card? Is this the one that you duress them unless they mill to?
Right. I'll pull it up
here
real quick because it's going to take a minute for that to all resolve.
It's just like not a very impactful card in general. If you see what Monk has been doing up to this point, like
the cards, the action spell. Sorry, it's not. I was thinking of what memory or purge. That was the other one I was thinking of. This is just reveal the top 5 cards of the deck. Choose one of those reveal cards removed from the game. Return the rest of the reveal cards to the top of the opponent's draw pile in your order of your choice. It might be valuable, but I think in general,
I didn't even know this was a card.
Yeah.
I don't think this card is very good. If you look at what Monk has been doing up to this point, you'll see that the cards that are milling him and doing a lot of work also do other things, which in general is where you want to be, I think, in Ashes, because just milling is rarely ever good enough. And we
disconnected again.
Yeah, I'm back in, but I had to reconnect. But
okay.
So you see here, Raptor Herder, he's Hope taking their small resource advantage here of a couple dice and going to go as wide as they can, try to get in a big swing. Violinist is a good answer.
I actually would have pinged the Herder here. Well, maybe it's probably still better because you're probably going to get Vampire Bat Swarmed and Lightbringer again. So this is a really good way. You get that last Nature's Wrath. So we're actually
it's very likely that there's going to be a group tactics attack.
All 3 Nature's Wraths are out.
There's the bat.
So if you're
he's gonna wait and see if a dove is made and then make a Lightbringer.
Monk is passing, so Monk doesn't want to make that last Orchid Dove. He wants to just tank this hit. That's a pretty big, bold play because you're talking 7 damage.
The Orchid Dove doesn't do anything because of Lightbringer. So if he makes an Orchid Dove,
sure.
Then Hope makes a Lightbringer. You see the Hope take advantage of the group tactics attack here, get in for 7.
Do we have the redirect play for Monk here? It'd be save 3 life.
Yeah, Raptor. I playing decks like this is very different in Ashes than in normal games. Like because you draw so many cards in your draw step, even though you're picking like the best one for them not to draw, they're probably always going to have something good to do. So essentially all you're doing is like milling them a little bit and not getting very far. And as you can see, even in what looks like a game where he has a big dominance in his strategy, where he's completely milled his opponent to 0, and we see a defensive sympathy pain here.
I like that defensive sympathy pain a lot.
Yeah.
Preserving that life. Monk is at 6 life remaining, so I did miss some damage being dealt somewhere in there. But Schmendrix is going to suffer 1 fatigue now.
And we're going to get another damage on the Leo from a Lightbringer, I assume. I don't know what this last divine dice could be, but I think it's probably nothing. Oh, because of the focus, it's an Orchid Dove. Okay.
Right.
So now we'll see a Lightbringer, and there will be another damage on the Leo. Jackson, I don't know if he has Neils in the deck or not. We haven't seen one yet. I mean, obviously, there's always a chance that he could not.
Yeah, meditation here is going to cost you a whole point of life.
I think I would sack the Salamander book, maybe.
Boy, I don't know, man. Because the books are the only thing you have left.
It puts a guy in play for you now and a guy in play for you next turn, and I think that's pretty big. Because you're gonna maybe Salamander is slightly better than Lightbringer next turn if you can get it sacked, but there's not even a guarantee that you're going to get it traded for anything against this deck.
He does. Meditate.
So, yeah, I think this is the right play. And I think it's fine to play from your hand too, though. Fire Archer is a card I might have kept.
He's got to have Final Cries in his deck, but I feel
he has 2 Final Cries. So with 2 Final Cries, does that kill Leo?
No.
Okay, so he attacks the Violinist. That's good.
Leo's now out of... This is where, obviously, Leo not making the dove here could have potentially safeguarded and saved himself quite a bit of damage, because he's going to take 4 here. 4 is going to put him really tight.
Yeah, Jackson. I mean, he may not have them, but, we don't know. Potentially, they could all be in the bottom 10, whatever.
So here you Lightbringer.
Yep.
I'm okay with this.
Is this going to kill him?
Choke the Leo. Yeah, this might be it. This is 5. 5 will kill him. That's lethal.
Yeah. The choke is so good. Oh my god.
No, it's not. It's dead. It's 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah.
He's dead because he has to attack, and he doesn't have a side action unit to make.
Because he choked out the Leo there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so awesome. This is what I wanted to see from Hope when Hope was printed, was like Lightbringer was the coolest thing to duplicate, because you get to like time walk them and take a main action. So cool.
That was a wild exchange of events there. Makes sense why the Fire Archer got tossed there.
Okay, Safeguard. Safeguard.
Oh, Safeguard is a way to buy time and get back in this game.
Well, it definitely beats the current board state, because he can't Lightbringer him again. Like, he has another time walk in the tank, but because there's no units for the Leo, the Lightbringer is not good. So obviously he takes his turn not to attack with the Safeguard turned on, makes a Sally, sacks a Sally book to bring up Ceremonial Power, which we know his last card is Final Cry. Well, we're like 99% sure his last card is Final Cry.
At this point, if he doesn't have Neil, I would say he's on a very low...
You could have an additional Safeguard and wait. Like if he has another Safeguard, what he can do is he can make Orchid Dove pass, then he's going to get Lightbringer, and then he can Safeguard the Lightbringer turn again.
Gosh, that's crazy. And he might have that. It's very possible.
Because, I think it's very likely.
Yeah.
Since he just made the Dove into the Lightbringer, I don't know why you would otherwise.
Yeah. Wild.
Because if he didn't have the second Safeguard, I think he'd be abundancing. Oh, he's safeguarding now.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Is that required? He could block 2 and take. Yeah, he would die otherwise.
Yeah. Okay.
So does he have the third safeguard?
That's going to be the key. Third safeguard will win the game, or at least put
Well,
him in.
not win the game, but
I mean, with your opponent down to, basically just a vampire bat swarm to play, and taking 4 fatigue around, it seems likely that that's true.
Yeah, and
there's
okay, so there's the other safeguard.
Woo, boys, here we go.
What a funny game.
All right.
I like these games of time walk v time walk where like you're getting Lightbringer to be time walk, then you're like safeguarding to time walk your opponent back, and
I mean, we've been building to this moment. You all wanted to see some delay and prison. We just saw prison happen, coming all out in round 3. What a crazy!
So he's still not like, this doesn't win him the game because we know that his last card
Neil will.
I'm not even sure that's true at this point.
The only unit he can make is
he only needs to do 1, right? Because we know his last card is Final Cry. Oh, I guess he's used Duplicate already, so he won't have the Final Cry for sure.
Right.
Okay, so
so at this particular point, if he has Neil, I don't see how he loses, because he will control the game.
He's got 4 damage in abundances.
We
don't know if he has Orchid.
He's got 5 damage between the Orchid Dove and the abundances. I guess it depends on whether he draws the other Orchid.
So here we're seeing Salamander attack Dove, right? Because of the safeguard turn, and he needs to take a main action,
right?
And he doesn't want to put his bat out there in case of Neil.
I think if you're Monk at this point, you just gotta kneel. You don't have a choice. You have to kneel here. If you don't have Neil, you lose.
Well, I mean, we're not sure he has it, right? Like that's still a thing.
No. Yeah. But,
and I don't know that he loses if he has if he like. Well, he could like make a Cobra and play heal.
Sure, that's also an
and he could.
He's got 1 heal left in the deck, so he makes a Dove. I would say that indicates he does not have the Neil, and that's with the pass, he's dead.
What is there any? He can't play Figures, right? Figures is a wolf.
Wolf, yeah.
Oh, he pinged his own Monk, Final Cried him, and now he's going to send the squad.
Yeah. And that is the game. No Neil. No Neil in that matchup. Everybody, we all thought there was going to be a Neil, but there was no Neil.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like he's playing that card and just didn't draw him. I'm not sure.